So we're making Apfel Streusel Kuchen, and it's like a German apple pie, except it's not as sweet as like American apple pie. Okay, so now I'm gonna peel the apples. So first you quarter the apples, and okay, so now that now that we chopped all the organic apples, we'll put them into a medium pot to heat them up. And then we will measure 75 grams of sugar. So it's about that much. And then we'll put that in. And then 75 grams of butter. So it's about that much butter, more than half a stick. And we'll put that into the pan. And then we'll put in some cinnamon. And they say about a knife tip of cinnamon. And so it's about that much cinnamon. And we will put that into the pan. Okay. So now we have to stir the pot until the butter melts and the apples are warm. And these apples are, well, there's two varieties of apples, or organic apples, and that is for the best flavor. Now we're going to butter the pan, and so it makes it easier to transfer the cake from the spring form. So I have to lightly butter the bottom, and then put on the spring form and butter, or the wax paper, and butter this whole thing. And then put on the spring form that way. And then wax this whole side, or butter this whole side. Sorry, I'm mixing everything up. Okay. So now that the apples are cooking and the pan is complete, we will move on to the next step, which is making the crust. So now the pie recipe calls for 150 grams of flour.
White flour.
White flour.
Ein Messerspitz Backpulver, which is a teaspoon of baking powder. 100 Gramm Zucker, which is 100 grams of sugar. Ein Päckchen Vanillenzucker, some vanilla sugar. Ein Prise Salz, which is a pinch of salt. Ein Ei, which is 1 egg. And 100 Gramm Butter, which is 100 grams of butter.
So now we have to pour 150 grams of flour into the scale. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And we have to pour it into this bowl. So now we are going to pour 100 grams of sugar into the scale. And we will pour that into the bowl. And then we have to put 1 teaspoon of baking powder in. And just some vanilla flavor, or some vanilla sugar for extra zest and yumminess. So now I'm gonna put in a pinch of salt and 150 grams of butter. And I think that is about 150. I'll put that, whoops. And I have to stir it up. So, as I'm mixing this, this is going to be for the crust of the pie, or the dough, of the Apfel Streusel Kuchen. To get the dough to come together, we add an egg. So I'm gonna crack this egg. And now we will mix that to get the dough to come together. Okay, so now that the dough is done, we are going to take a third of it and leave that in the bowl, and then we're gonna flatten that out and put it into here. Now we'll push it out to the edges of the pan. Now we are going to poke little holes in the bottom of the pie, and then we will put it into the oven at 350 for 12 minutes. There we go. So now we're making the streusel, which is like the crumble on an American dessert. And so we're gonna need 150 grams of flour. Pour it in. And then we need 100 grams of sugar. Here. Wait. Just start it there. And then 1 packet of vanilla sugar. That smells good. And 100 grams of butter. Because of my cast, I cannot mix this whole thing because I don't want to get it dirty, and it'll be kind of hard just with one hand, so I'm letting my mom do this part. So now I am making the sides of the pie by rolling out the dough. So now we're going to press these rolled out pieces of dough into the pan. So go kind of like this. So now I'm going to be putting the apples into the prepared crust. The final step is putting the streusel on to the pie. So now that our Apfel Streusel Kuchen is complete, we will be popping it into the oven.